Hey viewers, Alan here. Welcome to my workshop. Not all of my projects work out very well, and this is an example. I wanted to make a flywheel as part of a small engine project, and as you might have noted from the intro or for the title, it didn't work out so well. From this side it seemed like it was alright. From the other side not so much, bit wonky. It does actually run true, but the issue really is to do with the quality of the material, I think, rather than my ineptitude, although that could well be part of it. There are chips appearing in the metal, and it just has not machined very well at all. So whilst I've had some success with working with cast iron weights in the past, I think this is pretty crappy stuff, and I'll be making another one, I think. But I thought the idea of making a flywheel from a cast iron weight might be of broader interest than is the case for the small community of people following my engine build project. So that's why I've chosen to put this video out on its own. And perhaps you can profit from my experience and avoid some pitfalls that I fell into. Anyway, hope you enjoy the video. Now, long-term viewers of my channel know that I'm always on the lookout for ways to recycle, upcycle, whatever, and reuse. The specification for this engine calls out for the flywheel to be 95 diameter, so this barbell, dumbbell, whatever you want to call it, is an appropriate size for that. Obviously I've got to machine a hub or a centre for it, but I'm going to clean it up on a belt sander, see what it looks like. So I've got the weight mounted in the forejaw, and actually it seems to run surprisingly truly. That's 380 RPM. So what I'm going to do, I mean the thing owes me nothing anyway, I'm going to bore it out to a nominal size and then mount it on a spindle for the rest of the machining. Pretty much a mirror finish in there. So I was shooting for 29. I've got 28.995. That'll do me. Alright, so I've got a round hole there of known size. Well, that's pretty good. We'll go with that. So I decided to go ahead and machine a boss up to fit in this weight, and that OD there will match that ID. And there's the actual bore for the doesn't want to go in. There's it's quite a good fit. This 8mm axle for the flywheel itself. So I finished the machining on this side. And so I did all that in one chuck setup, so those three diameters are completely concentric. The machining I have to do on this side is only involves outer diameters that don't contact anything, so concentricity isn't important. So what I can do is part this off now, put it back in the chuck gripping on this surface, and machine the two diameters on the back here. And if they're not quite concentric, as I said, it won't matter. So I decided there wasn't much to be gained by parting that off, and I lopped it off with a bandsaw instead. So now I'll change over to my preferred facing tool. So I'm going to make that 0 now and go in 4.77. So that's finished that piece now, just a bit of chamfering on the corners and we're done. So I think you can see how it's all supposed to work now. I'll press that in there, and then I'll have these two bosses sticking out, which will have a drilling through into the crankshaft in due course. I've warmed the plate up slightly, cooled that down slightly. Let's see what happens. Well, it's in there. Something happened there, I don't know what that was. but otherwise it's worked out perfectly. I think maybe some bit of crap got caught in there somehow. Anyway, I'll clean that up a little bit later perhaps. But anyway, we have a flywheel. Well, that seems to be working alright. The face that I've machined is running true. You have to ignore this obviously at the moment. So I think the next step is to make an arbor to mount this on. Then I better machine the OD and the other face, and I think we'll have a flywheel. Okay, so I'm well underway with making up my 8mm arbor for finishing the flywheel off. I think you'll be able to see, oh, this is slightly reduced, this is 7.9, that's 8. It's slightly reduced for threading. I think you can see that that's a pretty snug fit on there, so I think that'll hold the alignment quite well. So I've just got to cut an M8 thread here now. Somewhere about there I think. And we'll finish it by hand. Okay, so let's get this beast set up for the machining. Now this side has got a recess in the end of the arbor, so we'll have to put that on there. So with that on, you can see there's that rebate in the end there. So I made up this little bush which will just fit in there and give me something to tighten the nut up against. I need to go ballistic with it, that's on pretty tight. Okay, well let's see how true it runs. Well, I think you could see it was running pretty true on that side, so hopefully when I've dressed this up and that face will be looking good. Alright, set up to go. I've got the machine set for 380 RPM and I've got my roughing tool in for facing, and we'll see what it's going to take to clean this face up. Well, we're past the worst of all this nasty crap now. We're going to start getting a couple of clean cuts in, I think. Little bits there, but otherwise it's pretty much cleaned up, so that's good. Might leave that at that and start checking the outer OD, see what we can achieve with that. We're definitely making progress. I think it's time to have a closer look at the tip on the cutting tool. Right, well we're getting close to dimension now. I've been using a roughing tool and it's down at the moment at 95.4. So I've just changed tools and try and get it to 95. Right, so I've finished making this thing. Have to say I'm not very happy with the end result. You can see a couple of big chips there. They came out as the cutter came off the side, and I didn't wake up to what was going on until it was quite late in the piece. Possibly putting this chamfer on earlier would have helped, but I'm not convinced about that, because even after I put the chamfer on, I did another light pass and the chips started coming off. So I don't know whether I was just inept using the wrong insert or my technique was bad, but anyway, the chips are not very attractive, of course. There's also, I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, possibly not very well at all, but just there's a defect in the casting which chose to show up just as I came on size. Prior to that, the surface has been really good. I did manage to get it running true on the arbor, which was really good, but then again, of course, these internal casting features aren't concentric with that anyway, so it still looks a bit odd when it's a bit wobbly. It isn't, it actually tracks really nicely, but these inside edges don't look so good. So it was an interesting exercise, and I don't regret having a go, but I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Yeah, not worth the effort. And the other thing is, of course, I've now got an absolutely massive clean-up. There's a huge mess on the lathe. It's going to take me an hour or so just cleaning all that lot up. So yeah, interesting exercise, but wouldn't recommend it.